All right, so hey guys, it's another beautiful day and week, obviously, in the world of tech, African tech and startup space, to be specific. So we have some quite interesting regulatory issues to crack down on today. But yeah, before we go on, I would like to make a very, very important clarification. And first of all, apologies to all our dear listeners for like a very, very, very important factual error that was made in the last podcast. So it doesn't sound like a big deal from the outside, but it is a big deal. And if you blink, you're going to miss that important fact. So we announced that Payday, the cross-border payment startups, suspended a partnership with MasterCard, which was not the case. What the actual case was Payday suspended a partnership with a provider that allows them to issue MasterCards to Nigerians. So that was the main issue. And hard tip to Feromi on the YouTube comments for spotting that. And we've updated the article, we've updated the title of the description and all of that. And please accept our sincere apologies. But that important fact does not take away a lot of the issues that we discussed in the podcast, for instance. So issues that virtual card providers are facing, chargeback frauds, insufficient funds, and of course the way less than stellar customer service from every user I've interacted with. So as I work in tech, I always recommend tech products to people, and they will not come back and say, you talk, say this thing they work, and those kind of things. So that has been the issue so far. And Payday has promised to come and clarify a lot of these issues, and we're having a conversation with them. They've promised to clarify what is going on in the virtual card scene, the specific details behind all the partnerships that are going on. So we're looking forward to that conversation. We will find a way to drag them on video, but if it's not possible, just do an article and of course point you to that. Then the lessons learned from this, it's for us journalists. We have to be very, 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 very meticulous with our reporting and try to deliver the facts as possible. But no human being is above mistakes. And also, we did reach out to Payday on a Tuesday. The podcast came out on a Thursday, and we didn't get any response as of that Thursday. The response only came after the mistake has been made. So I think it's also a lesson for startup founders to at least help the journalists provide the best narrative possible. You don't owe us any response. That is perfectly fine. But it's in the best interest of both the journalists, both the customers that you serve, that the media is able to provide factual and accurate information on time. That's it. So, welcome to the podcast. I have Bolu and Chuzum here with me. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having me.
I'm tired of seeing your faces, though.
Thank you for having me.
My face? Are you sure?
Your respective faces each. I'm tired of seeing it on the podcast. How far?
Look at my face again.
There's nothing.
Are you sure?
Nothing. Oh I'm thinking of actually changing things up, right? Someone gave me an idea last month that because remember we did a poll, right? 15 to 20 minutes or Kukuma stop the podcast, or 25 to 30 minutes, and 40 minutes to infinity. People were looking at, those guys that chose 40 minutes to infinity. If you're one of them, of course, it was an anonymous poll. So maybe we'll have something for you. Probably. But just let us know if you'll be interested in doing anything with us on the podcast.
Okay, maybe you have something for people that chose 40 minutes to infinity.
Yes, obviously.
Okay, I might not be part of that.
You're not.
I
don't catch you now. I knew Techpoint has voted in that poll. I've got you. What?
No, I'm not saying I voted. I'm saying that thing that you want to give those people that want 40 minutes to infinity. That thing that you want to create for them.
Yes.
I might not be a part of it.
Why?
40 minutes to infinity. Come on.
I mean, this might be a good time for you to do a podcast, a podcastathon, Abi.
Please. Guinness World Record will come and shout in the comments.
Longest hackathon.
Longest podcast episode.
Exactly.
No. Okay.
It will be really cool.
It will not. Because we've abused that thing. People should go and find another record to break. So.
And that's a record. That's the record.
FCCPC has continued their fight against loan apps.
Yeah.
So what's the latest update on that?
So the FCCPC plans to report every erring loan app to the Google Play Store, and the idea is that don't harass your customers. If you're caught, or if there are complaints from customers that you're harassing them, you'll be reported to Google and you'll be kicked off the Play Store. And I think as of now, the FCCPC says they are treating over 400 complaints, which is actually small in my like, to me, I think it's small.
400 complaints.
Oh,
complaints. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm suspecting that maybe people don't even know. So by the way, if you're using a loan app and you are being harassed, please report them to the FCCPC. There's a website. They have a website, so you can go over and report them. So yes, that's it. And they said there are no second chances. So one strike and you're out. So you don't have a second chance to redeem yourself. So if there's a complaint by customers that you're harassing them, then you'll be reported to Google and they'll be kicked off. You'll be kicked off the Play Store. So if you remember a few months ago, Google implemented an update to their Play Store policy that stated that every loan apps in Nigeria, Kenya, and a few other countries, they have to comply with certain regulations. So, for example, in Nigeria, if you're not licensed to offer lending services, you can't have your app on the Play Store. And I think that was the same thing in Kenya. So you have to actually get like approval, basically something from the regulator in your country that says, okay, I'm licensed to provide this service. So it was a lot of like it affected how a lot of the current operators, because sometimes we don't know the number of loan apps in Nigeria. As the FCCPC said, they had licensed or kind of given approval to 173 companies. So it's not just the usual guys, Carbon, Rent Money, and all of that, Fair Money, and the likes that we were included. So a lot of startups are in that space, and the FCCPC doesn't want you guys harassing customers. So that's like the lowdown on everything that's going on in that space.
Yeah, okay. But what are those ethical ways that you can use to get your money? Because I know Nigerians, and I've seen different things. I've seen what people that I know personally do when they borrow money. People can be mean.
There are ethical ways to recover your money. I don't know if you've spoken about this once or a few times on the podcast, but really, there are better ways to recover your money than telling me that you're going to kill my dad. There are better ways than that, man. So first of all, don't give loans to people who can't repay the loans, which means, of course, you are not going to be lending to a lot of people. If someone can't afford to repay the loan, which now means you need to. So how do I explain it? So don't start solving a problem, so people are defaulting on loans, and then you rush to ask yourself, why are they defaulting on loans? Or how do we stop them from defaulting on loans? You should be asking yourself, why are they defaulting on loans? There's a part you say where people are fraudulent.
Yes, where they have the money and they just don't want to pay.
Yes, there's that part. But a good number of people are not able to they can't repay the loans that they took in the first place. So, for example, you're making 50,000 naira a month and you take a loan from a company, you take, let's say, 40,000 naira, and then you want to pay back in 3 months. It looks like you can handle it, but when you add the interest, you're probably going to be taking almost half of your salary every month to repay that loan. And you still have other things to cater to. So when people look at that, they may be like, well, I can't repay my loan, and then every other thing in my life suffers. So of course, there's like a responsibility on their part to not take those loans in the first place. But sometimes people really can't help themselves. So it's not left to you. You're running a business. You're the one who bears the bigger cost. If I don't repay my loan, well, right now in Nigeria, there are very few mechanisms. So if I don't repay my loan, there are very, very few repercussions. I think it was Olowe that was saying it. There are very few repercussions to you not repaying your loan. You don't really have a credit score, per se. So you don't suffer a lot if you don't repay. So who suffers? The lending company. So make sure that
Okay, so to clarify that, we actually do have credit scores as long as you have in the banking system. You might not
Yeah.
know about it.
Yeah, so I saw a company recently
That's helping you see your credit score. And
but that is not. So I think they don't have all the credit bureaus in Nigeria hooked up. Probably not yet, but currently, like even with that, if I move out from a few, like maybe 5-6 startups that are very very meticulous in who they give loans to, the rest just open their mouths or open their doors and give loans to anybody that comes. They don't do much KYC or much verifications before they do it. So I'm using
Really?
Carbon.
so you can take loan without at least dropping your BVN.
You can drop your BVN, but like so
I mean, BVN already contains a lot of data.
yeah.
So, I mean, I don't see, this is me personally though. Once you have my BVN or my NIN, I don't see the point of asking for a bunch of other things again, considering that BVN already asked me for those things. Or maybe providers don't have access to all that data from the BVN. So
Possible.
that is the possibility. But yeah, they are, like you said, I think there are better ways of loan recovery. Be free, a startup that launched, I think in 2021. They actually did that well. I saw an example of how their loan recovery process works. It's not a case of hounding you, but guilt tripping you. Like they will appeal to
Your
whatever
soul.
emotions that's inside you to repay the loans.
Even that is
You-
not even very effective.
It's not that effective, which is why it's not just even a case of protecting the consumers. Who is going to protect the lenders? Because number one, this country needs credit, right?
Of course.
A lot of economies that grow massively, a lot of companies that build massive infrastructure, and they take loans, right? The big companies you hear today, MTN, Dangote, they wouldn't be where they are today without taking like massive amount of loans. Elon had to take loan. Almighty Elon, not almighty, but
Buy Twitter, we never pay fees.
so yeah, the credit is very, very important. But who protects the lenders when Nigerians are very, very Bulu does mention Nigerians are very wonderful people.
Yeah, I mean,
and not just loans, even to pay electricity bill. You're looking
Of
for how
course.
to tweak meter
so
that you not pay electricity. Why?
people can be very creative. Right? Like people are very, very creative. I've seen some of the things that people are doing to either evade loans or to basically get anything they want.
Like
People
pay
can
for
be very
basic amenities.
creative, yeah.
Like you want to take electricity for free. You want to now also take loans. That is not your money and not paid. So when you even say, do you know that those people that you say they can't pay loans, if it was a cooperative in their locality, do you know that they will pay that money?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is now something that is very interesting. Money. So money does something. Yeah, it is also lending, but I think they've started doing that for. I don't know if they've said for individuals, but they use something similar to this. So, for example, you will not get a loan from them if someone doesn't recommend you. So it's not like you see our app, you download. There has to be someone recommending you, right? And they are building on the fact that okay, if I don't repay my loan, it affects everybody. So we are co-opting everyone to hold every other person accountable. And I think one of the examples that CEO gave me once was said someone took a loan and it wasn't intentional. I think they had a health challenge and they just couldn't pay on the day that they were to repay. So the other people in the community were like, no, we can't allow this to happen. So they contributed the money, repaid money, and kicked the guy out. So he said they didn't understand why the guy was kicked out. They had to go ask, like, how was this guy kicked out? And they said because the company has a policy that says if one person defaults, it affects everybody. They're like, okay, so let's protect
Everybody.
ourselves. And one person can be the reason that we are all suffering. So I think that may be something that helps, but even that has it's not foolproof as well. I mean, there's really no method, at least currently, that is foolproof. But it could be something. But yes, you actually have a very good point. Who protects the lenders? Because most of the and I guess it's because of the kind of country we are in. It's very easy to prey on poor people, really. So I guess that's part of the reason why there's a lot of focus on the consumers as opposed to the lenders. But it's also time for us to start asking questions about who protects the lender then.
No, I used to focus a lot on the consumer, but when I started, especially when I went to Ife, I started seeing some kind of things. I'm like, nah, Nigerians are very, very, very like, pay for trash. You rather burn it in front of your compound and mess up the entire environment.
I almost want to.
Don't mention anybody's name. No, so I mean, Nigerians are very, very wonderful, and there's a lot of entitlement going on.
Yeah.
Yes, because there really isn't any. There are very, very few consequences to bad behavior in Nigeria.
Exactly. And
at
it
every
goes
level,
from the bottom of the pyramid to the top. So you're looking at the people at the top and you're seeing them misbehave, and nothing's happening to them.
So why should I also misbehave? There's incentive for me to do the right thing. So it makes sense.
I mean, the CBN launched the GSI, but they limited it so the GSI is like a global standing instruction that it's supposed to be like anybody that takes money. Let's say you're Access Bank and you're
UBA.
Please, not
you borrow money from Access Bank. And I borrow money from you and I refuse to pay back, but I have money in my UBA. According to GSI, ideally, you should be able to collect money from my UBA account without even talking to me at all. So every of your BVN linked accounts or wallets should be part of the GSI. But I don't, as of my knowledge cutoff, ChatGPT. As of my knowledge cutoff, that is not available to a lot of fintech companies. Even that 173 loan apps, I'm pretty sure
definitely will have it.
Most of them don't have, and that thing is actually good. Well, all these people that are not paying back their loans, they have money in other accounts, right? Of course.
And it's also interesting. Like, lending companies are doing a lot of lending, but banks that can take this money out are not lending.
Yeah, for good reasons.
Obviously. So, I mean, the fact if people probably don't know a lot about this policy, but people can decide, you know what, let me put my money elsewhere. So if I know, for example, that fintechs don't have access to this, I can move my money out or keep my money under my bed in order for them not to access it. So I really think you should have that conversation. It's actually a very important conversation.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So they are waving the flag for us already. Yeah. So Flutterwave. So yeah, the big bad Flutterwave has launched tuition, and so tell us what that is.
So
exactly,
tuition. The name gives it away, but it's
tuition. Like they help me pay for my school fees,
something like that. In short,
like,
that's
so
it.
Flutterwave can start paying my school fees now.
It's not that they are not your guardian. That's what it means.
You said the name gives it away.
I mean, tuition is what you pay to. It's the fee you pay to get education.
So Flutterwave will pay for me.
They are paying for you, or they are helping you to pay. But Shadonga and say that
you are paying it through them.
Please don't misinform people. What is the story, please? What is the story?
Tuition will help students to make payments for their education. So currently, it's launching with Nigeria, and it's targeting universities in the UK. They also plan to target high schools. So I'm guessing maybe like all these A-level training preparatory colleges. So yeah, if you are a student or you have a child who you're struggling with paying tuition, so Flutterwave built that product for you. Currently, like I said, it's for now it's in the UK, and I think it makes sense for them to start in the UK. The number of Nigerians who went to the UK increased by 64% between 2021 and 2022. So that's where the bulk of Nigerians are going to. And they intend to roll out in other countries, US and a few other countries that Nigerians typically go to. So I'm guessing it would have, I think it's not just Nigerians that have this problem in Africa. Mm-hmm. It's going to be, or it's Africans from all over the basically Africans, let me not be saying rubbish. Africans have this issue. So I'm expecting that it launches in the coming months in those countries, maybe US, China, Canada, and to some extent South Korea. It will be interesting to see how that works. I know a lot of Nigerians are going to South Korea, so those are some of the markets that could be good.
I wish I
spots for
knew
them to know.
someone who was. Okay, I actually do.
Someone who was.
Yeah, like know what the process like is like when you like try to pay when someone tries to pay your tuition from Nigeria. Like you know how cumbersome that process.
Yeah,
is
it's
It's,
not really
it's,
straightforward.
yeah.
Especially if the person's abroad.
So first of all, you have to move money out of Nigeria, which, as you know, was an issue with how do I get dollars, first of all. So CBN had this BTA, PTA, where I could apply for funds either for travel, business, and all of that. But
Okay.
Then
it was
it's
very
from
low.
A, yeah.
Yeah, it was very low. So from A had to, at some point, they were getting preference. So if you're paying school fees, you could use Form A to get access to funds to pay your school fees. And with the number of Nigerians that number of Nigerians schooling abroad, it's a lot. Or who have guardians paying for them from Nigeria, it was a lot. So it was always very difficult for a lot of people to actually get any funding to pay their school fees. I saw a lot of stories on Twitter where people said they were unable to process payments, and as a result of that, they were kicked out of school. Or they basically paid for it in some way. So it was a problem, and it's something that I think I saw a startup that was doing something similar. Not like this was their primary product, helping Nigerians to make payments. I'm wondering what they are doing right now.
Yeah, so Flutterwave and Paystack, they've gotten to that stage where they can just launch your entire startup as a feature on their entire product lineup, which is a crazy thing, right? So anyone who has been playing in that space already finally maybe has to find a way to tweak their model,
or maybe add more products.
So there's this thing I have, right? I have this what do they call it? Bias towards companies that do one thing and are very good at it. Like if you know that, okay, this is what you want to do, you can use them. I like companies. I feel like someone who is doing a lot of things will not have enough time to focus on the customer service part of things, the product development. So someone like Google now that can launch any feature whatsoever, you can try to kill it at any time.
Yeah, but I mean, so that's valid. So on the other hand, the bigger you grow, or depending on the market you're playing in, you may realize that the one product that you're very good at may not give you the kind of revenue you want. And if you're VC backed, for example, it may not give your investors.
No, that's a different conversation. Yeah. That one of the size of the market you're serving with that specific product.
Yeah. So funny thing is, even with this one, right, the number of Nigerians who are schooling abroad is, let's say, negligible. So you pay school fees once a year, and I think Flutterwave is charging a flat fee of I think £26 for every transaction. So there's no transaction limit. So you can pay, I guess, you can pay as much. Depending on the cost of your fees, you can really pay as much as you can. But you have, I think we have about 128,000, if I'm accurate, 128,000 Nigerians who are schooling in the UK. Like, I think this was over a 5 or 7 year period. So we don't have too many people. Now, when you look at the fact that the UK is like one of the most popular destinations, multiply it across all the countries that Nigerians are probably studying in, well, it may be coming up to 1 million. Hopefully, and considering Nigeria's population, if you look at that as a measure of what the market for other African countries, you may end up serving maybe 3 to 5 million. So this is back of paper math. It's not very accurate. So the market isn't that large, but it's a service that is actually needed. And if for some reason it becomes really easy for me to make a payment with my Access Bank account or with any fintech at all, just send money to UK and you can do that. If we remove those transaction limits for certain transactions, it could be that Flutterwave, like you said, we just say, okay, maybe this isn't enough for us to spend all the time and effort on it.
And just kill it off. Interesting. That's quite an interesting one. And if you want to learn how to talk about market size like this, come to Page Friday tomorrow. Friday. What date is Friday?
14th, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, so
14th. Yeah.
14th. What time?
3 p.m. Zone Tech Park. So yes, important update, right? If you've been coming before, we had this hall that we always use, but we're not able to get the same hall, but we have a different hall in the same location. So please, you can still come around. Don't worry, I'll be there way before 3. So if you can't, you know how to reach me for those of you, and I'll be there to direct you. Or I guess we shall be there to direct you. So
okay, so we'll be there. Ask security, mention Techpoint. They will know. They will have an idea of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Then come and hear startups talk about market size.
we actually have some interesting guys coming. So
Interesting ones, right? Yeah. That would be cool. And I saw a founder talking about the market size segment of a pitch deck. Everybody knows that part is bullshit, but we just keep nodding our head. I'm like, So this is the size of the market, right? I mean, the last one I'm seeing 5 billion. 5 billion. Oh, okay. Yeah. A lot of talk about finance today, right? And
There's still finance.
it's still finance. Gracious. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so Nigeria lost a little bit less to fraud in Q1 2023. Olu, can you give us a lowdown on that? Nigerian banks, right?
Yes. So, glory be to God. Thank God. Thank God for Nigerian banks this year. It has been a good year for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this is the year they were also making, they said they are making money. A lot of money.
they've always been making money, but they've been making really good money.
Yeah, but this year was really good. I even saw GTB made like their Q1. I think profit before tax was like 75 billion already, compared to like I think they made around 60 something last year. But even more good news for them. This year, banks have lost a lot less to fraud this year compared to last year. So this year they only lost around 470 billion naira to fraud compared to last year.
Million naira.
Yes, million naira. Sorry, 470 million naira to fraud compared to last year where they lost around 1.3 billion naira. So I mean, that gap is really wide. I think that's about 85% difference, right? And there were lots less fraud cases this year compared to last year. They were also able to recover a lot even when there were those fraud cases. They were able to recover more after those cases compared to last year, right? And yes, things have been really good for them. Most of the fraud cases, but the interesting thing is that fraud cases that involve POS have actually increased, which I'm not surprised because
a lot more people are using POS.
Yeah, POS. Yes, a lot more people now use POS now. But I think overall, banks have reason to be thankful, and I'm thankful on their behalf because they've lost. But 1.3 billion naira last year, I think that's a lot really, and I think the fact that it reduced so much, I mean that's reduced by more than 80%, shows that. Well, I'm going to assume that it shows that they beefed up security or they did something about their security, because that's a very, very impressive. Onome wants to say something. Have I said rubbish?
I just wanted to clarify because I know that the figures are grouped into quarters.
Yes.
Yeah, because
True.
so for example, Q4 it was 1 point something to Q1. Q4 2020 was 1 point something. Q1 2022 was also 1 point something.
True.
So cumulatively, it might be more than that.
Well, so
this is just for Q1 now.
Yes, this is just for Q1. So if we are keeping the focus on Q1, difference between Q1 2023 and Q1 2022. Q1 2022 was 1.3 billion naira. Q1 2023 they lost over 400 million naira to fraud. That's significantly.
Yeah, it's really less than what they did. So I'm wondering what could be the reason. increased security on their platforms, possibly, or is it just that their customers don't have a lot of money?
Or so, I mean, I don't know which. You said 3 billion, right? In Q4.
No,
Q4 2022.
no, Q1 2022 was 1.3 billion.
Q1 2022
Yes.
was 1.3 billion. Then
Q1
Q1
2023.
2023 was 472. Oh my god.
Million.
So now I'm asking, could it be something else that might, because there's an important fact that you've not mentioned so far. Staff involvement in fraud cases increased by 87%. So that's still an issue.
Okay.
So you said no matter how big your firewall is, humans will always be your weak link, right? And that is well-meaning humans. They could be your weak link. Now, what about those who are actively trying to defraud you or trying to defraud your customers? So imagine how. So yeah, maybe they have built security. So outside incursions is as reduced. But what it's telling me is internally, banks are having to deal with a lot of fraud. Because based on what the data said, right? So it's 7% increase in staff involvement. It's not a nice. That's
very bad.
Yeah, it's not a nice thing at all.
And this point, this issue you raised is a very, very important one. And points to the fact that, I mean, it's the people that work in the bank that are protecting my money now. And if they are the ones that want to steal my money, I'm scared though.
It's going to be the same with any financial institution. It's going to be the people. Of course, outsiders, yes, it's to hack, but people inside can also do that. But if it increased 87%, is it over Q1 2022? And
yeah, I think it's quarter on quarter, I guess.
That's a significant.
So I need to, because that increase is so high, it's making me even doubt his stats.
It's too high. So if it's that high, cost of living has also gone up.
Say cost of living.
Yeah.
And they never increase salary.
And they, some have. So could it also be one of the reasons?
So the actual figures, because if you are saying percentage, it seems really high. I'm not saying it's not high, but what the section is that normal people that lost their jobs because they dealt in banking fraud. So as at Q1 2022, it was 12 people.
Okay.
Q1 2023 is 15 people.
Okay, so it's not a lot. Okay,
I see.
So that's why.
12 to 15.
So when you look at percentage increase, it seems like
That's quite interesting. So a lot of fraud from so 15 people lost in how many banks? They didn't mention the number of banks. Okay. So yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm still trying to confirm this.
But I like where Chingozim was going with the cost of living thing.
No, I mean you can protect yourself by ensuring that the incentive to defraud you is lower.
Okay, I've confirmed it. It's not the number of people that lost their jobs, but the number of cases recorded. So there were 72 cases in Q1 2023 as against 38 in Q4 2022.
That's too high.
Cases of where employees were
involved. Yeah, so 72 to. So
it's still plenty.
So maybe one person did more than once. That's why you are saying 15, or maybe they've not caught some people.
But when they say recorded, is it that they actually caught these people? Because
I guess
when they caught them,
can you now see?
Then what now happens? Like, why didn't those people lose their jobs?
Maybe one person did more than once then.
That's it.
Then
and these are the people they caught too.
Yeah.
These figures are
exactly
people that will have gotten away with
124 unspecified cases and 6 collusion cases. So
And I'm thinking about all those cases on Twitter. And I'm like, it's probably one of those cases. I don't know if
Yeah.
you remember a particular lady that lost, I think, 4 million naira. She was on Twitter like every day, like begging.
yeah, from the bank. She wanted to
Yeah.
use it for school fees, right? Or something.
I can't remember what she wanted to use it for, but she had been saving that money for some time. And there was actually, I know I have a personal case, like a friend of mine who lost. That was about 300,000 naira. I mean, in this economy.
If you don't use
300,000
50K, save a few costs.
Yeah, another person has been asking
Omo.
for 100K from Union Bank for the past how many weeks now. Someone else has been asking for how much from GT. They are just
And the thing is that those cases are just because the one that happened with my friend was someone was able to. It's like the person doesn't have internet banking, and then someone was like able to create an internet banking profile.
Interesting.
I don't know if you understand. Yes, so it's just like the bank was like, "You did it. You sent the money. There's really nothing we can do." And
So
it's
is it
like,
that someone
not.
someone that knows him? Or what? So
It's-
that's some of his
So it
business.
really looks like an inside job.
it's
Yeah.
funny. That's how they told me when I went to the bank. Anytime I dial my USSD code, I'm only seeing 2 accounts. I'm like, who get this other one? They said, "Na me open them." I say,
When?
how?
It's probably something they did themselves.
I
Like,
actually
it's-
remember receiving a text message from a bank that I've never entered in my life saying that I just opened a new account. And I was like,
Are we
Yeah.
playing here?
what is
It happens.
I mean, it also goes to show how careful we need to be with things like this. I think we've had discussions about this, about how Nigerians don't really take those things seriously. We don't
Next
take
time you see
privacy
challenge on
seriously.
Twitter, don't put up your son.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
and yes. When
Stop
you
putting
see
all
these
those
things on
things
Twitter,
out.
say a new challenge. Post your
comment
mother's name.
your
They are
collecting. I can comment the month where you were born.
even
Already, you've told me you're 26. Now come and tell me that okay, I was born in June or July or whatever.
and you are posting your
Connecting all of
pictures,
that.
and someone can use it to do KYC.
like,
And you don't know if they already have, if it's just that your picture that's remaining for them to remember your money. Just be careful what you do.
Yeah,
like,
that's it can be as simple as, hey, Yoruba boys, post your picture here. Igbo boys, post your picture here. It can be that simple, honestly.
It can even be like, I remember when I just moved to Ogun State for my service here, and this guy started messaging me on WhatsApp. Like, we met and he collected my number, and he was like, send me pictures of you. And I sent him a couple pictures, and he was like, don't you have full picture? Like,
yeah.
you standing. And I'm like, bro, I just sent you 3 pictures. What else do you want? Say, hey, you took this ones on the same day wearing the same cloth. Don't you have full? I just blocked him straight because I don't have time for stress.
That was probably the first time. Once you use your picture to do.
It's
Yeah.
Yahoo, I beg. Nothing you want to tell me. I'm sorry for that stereotype, but that's too much. That's too much. But yeah, just to round up, outsider involvement is actually way higher. So outsiders, of course, there are cases of collusion with these outsiders, but outsider involvement last quarter, which was Q4, was 13,436 people, or incidences or cases rather. Then outsider involvement for first quarter was 12,351 cases or incidents. So yeah, that's a reduction in the number of outsiders that could penetrate. So maybe their security have indeed been beefed up, but in terms of that internal,
That internal one will be more effective. It might be lower, but it's it will be more effective.
Of course, because we've heard stories of that one on the mess case. That is it's common. So it's not just limited to Nigeria. I can't remember the name of the bank, but a really large bank in the US had issues where staff were creating accounts for people. I think about 2 million accounts were created, and this was because you have to meet a quota of accounts created and all of that. So employees did a lot of that. So it's not like it's absurd. It's something that happens, but it's the case of the incentives that you're giving them. People will always be people. like Emmanuel said, they are your weak link no matter how secure you are. And if you make it easy for me to steal, you can't always bank on the goodness of people's hearts. That's just the truth.
I mean, there are some. Okay, let me not give anybody ideas, but there are smarter ways to steal than fraud. If you want to steal,
Yeah.
like think well, think.
But how many are going to give you these huge amounts of money? Especially if you can get away with it. So
There needs to be consequences for this
Emmanuel,
bad behavior.
we'll talk after.
What?
this.
I'm not talking anything. I'm not saying anything. I don't do
But
anything.
really, there should be consequences for it. I don't know. I heard someone say that some banks take new employees, their graduate trainees to kiri. Like, bro, that could be your fate if you do anything.
That's actually a nice deterrent.
They should probably start taking them to. So if you grew up in the East, there was a time when the Okija Shrine was a thing. Take them to your whatever that you
believe in.
make them swear.
All right. So still in finance.
KYC.
I'm not swearing, please. Oh, that is KYC.
2F no 2FA.
Oh, 2F. So you give Bible on one hand, and if
Exactly.
the Bible is very merciful. So those ones, they don't waste time. But it's fine. But yeah, still on finance. I'm hearing that the Kenya High Court has indefinitely suspended the Finance Act 2023, and there were some provisions in the Finance Act where they want to tax content creators and crypto traders.
Yeah.
And they were sued that this is unconstitutional, this is not legal, and government said, you can't suspend the act because if you suspend the act, it's going to hinder our operations. That you can't suspend this indefinitely. Then the guy said, but we suspended this for 12 days now and the government has not shut down.
What are you telling me?
What are you telling me? So what happened to the Finance Act 2022? You can still be using that one. So it's not every time you must do Finance Act, basically. That's what
The person is.
that's what the people that has changed. But it has been, they've been sued. And I think every year since 2019 I've been seeing Finance Act from Kenya. And
I think even Nigeria too has been doing something.
they've been doing that thing. And honestly, it's actually nice to update your fiscal laws, but again, I have to put this out there: the laws that govern taxation is clear, but the laws that govern accountability after you collect my tax is not clear. Yes, you have the right to arrest me and punish me for not paying my tax, but what do I do to you if you do not do what you are supposed to do with taxpayer money?
Yeah.
I see a video. Yeah.
Every single time I receive
Tax
an
alert.
alert, I'm just pissed because
Which
what
they
are
use
you
my
doing in my
money.
life?
I
Like
see a video
the
shared,
difference
man.
between my gross salary and my net salary is annoying right now. It's so annoying.
Guys,
Someone will leave
they are
it.
repairing the express route.
Check-
Express road. They're
please.
spending 3-4 hours to get.
please.
They should better finish that road
You
before
know what that
August.
thing has done in my life?
I'm telling you. Like,
What it has cost me.
do you know the relationships that have been destroyed because of that?
They should better finish that thing before August, before CCG convention.
Hey, mama.
Hey. They should just finish that thing.
Some video recently, I think the guy is like a chief. He mismanaged funds of his people. They tied my guy flogged. So imagine flogging governors in public.
Hey, we are not there. Hey.
I didn't call any governor's name, but if the shoe fits, wear out. So it should be a
Okay.
deterrent, man.
All right. Another story. They said lawyers are using ChatGPT. I don't know what you want them to do. I don't know what you want them to do.
I pity you.
South African courts codes lawyers using ChatGPT. I mean, as of my knowledge cut off, I don't see any.
I don't think my client is guilty.
Imagine saying that in court and you not realize that what did I just say? Okay, that's fine. All right, please don't forget to come to Beach Friday tomorrow. Are you heading Ogheneruemu? We are using a new hall, a different hall from what we were using before. And don't forget to subscribe to our newsletters. They're just like bite-sized updates on what's going on in different industries. So in what's going on in the world of work and what's going on in the fintech space. So the fintech today, the workaholic, and of course our main newsletter where you just get updates around tech all over the world. Techpoint Digest. So those are interesting things. And am I missing anything? Is there something I'm supposed to announce? I have not announced. And don't forget to download our financial services market report. So Yinka has been coming on the podcast a lot to sell his market, but yeah, we're also going to keep selling this market. And yeah, we have some interesting updates for some of you who may have downloaded the report, especially those of you that downloaded it on time. Yeah, of course. I think I'm done.
Yes.
I'm done, right?
Yeah.
All right. So try not to use ChatGPT
If you are a lawyer.
if you're a lawyer.
or even a doctor. I do not want to think about it.
I know
Use it.
doctors are sacred in my eyes.
How to
How
to conduct appendectomy.
you now
I hope
put
I
the,
pronounce it properly.
you now put the phone next
No,
to
they use a
your.
tab.
Oh, they use a tab.
phone, or maybe a very large screen. And I'll put it.
Ask that.
Got left.
Can I cut it? What did you say? You can cut it.
All right, bye, people.
Bye.
All right, take care.
All right. Bye.